Welcome back, America. Morning glory, bonjour, hi. It's Hugh Hewitt talking to 400 plus affiliates, including our new one in Bristol and Jonesboro and all along the border in Tennessee on 92.9. Welcome in Virginia and Tennessee. My guest this morning to start the second hour of Pennsylvania is Attorney General Josh Shapiro. You should know Josh Shapiro is a Democrat. I like him anyway. He's one of those old-fashioned Democrats who I get along with. Good morning, Mr. Attorney General. How are you?
Hey, Hugh, good morning. I get along with you, too, so how about that?
That's great. Now, let me ask you the first question. How is the Shapiro family and your extended family, everybody healthy?
Thanks for asking. We're okay. You know, we've got 4 school-age kids. My wife and I are home with them. We're hunkered down, and, you know, we're some of the blessed people. The kids have computers to do online learning. We've got food. Most importantly, we're healthy, and we're hanging in. So I appreciate you asking. I hope the Hewitt clan is doing all right as well. We appreciate particularly your kids' service. It really matters to us. Thank you.
Now, I want to thank you. I want to look at every attorney general is the same. I had David Yost on, a Republican, and they were battling to get an FDA approval for one of their companies. So there are 3 categories. Is the federal government helping you? Number 2, what's going on with your efforts against hoarders and price gouging? And number 3, there are lots of states attorney general going after big tech. I think we need a truce in that war from the feds and the state until we're done with this. I'll let you take those in the order that you want. Federal government action, hoarding and price gouging, and truce for tech.
I would say the federal government has been accessible. I've been on numerous calls. In particular, the Surgeon General and I have gone back and forth on an issue of testing. I tend to believe we need to do more testing than he does. We've had an area of disagreement there, but it's been respectful, and they've been accessible. And, you know, based on my conversations, which have been extensive with our governor, we seem to be getting the resources that he's asking for. So on point number 1, obviously we've got many miles still to travel, but I think that is going okay. On price gouging, look, as soon as the governor issued his declaration here in Pennsylvania, I immediately set up a special price gouging hotline, price gouging at attorneygeneral.gov here in Pennsylvania. Hugh, we've received 3,165 total price gouging complaints.
Wow.
We followed up on each and every one of them. I got a store in Philly selling masks for $49.99. They're typically less than $5. I got a drugstore in Harrisburg selling a small package of toilet paper for $21.99. Listen, you cannot take advantage of a Pennsylvanian during this crisis. We got to pull together. We got to look out for one another. Now, on the third point you raised on price gouging, look, I think there's a lot of questions about, you know, as you call it, big tech that need to be addressed later on. Here's one that can't wait. I led a multi-state action calling on Amazon, eBay, Facebook, Walmart, and Craigslist to use the technology they already have to more rigorously monitor online price gouging. Because what they're doing now is they're basically playing whack-a-mole, right? With the gazillions of products they're selling, they have, you know, they get a complaint, they look into it, they take the product off their marketplace. That's fine, but we need them to use their online tools and the technology and all the data they collect on us when we shop for things and use that to stop the price gouging from occurring in the first place. The good news is this was a bipartisan coalition of attorneys general that I led, 33 in total, and we are hearing from these platforms that they agree they need to take more steps, and they're working constructively with us. So I hope
Let's expand on that for a minute, Attorney General Shapiro. The big tech industry is under the constant surveillance of the Federal Trade Commission, the United States Department of Justice, and 50 state attorneys general, and that's good. I have pushed for that. I want them to cooperate without fear of antitrust action being brought by state officials or federal officials for a period of time certain. You know, if they want to cooperate to stop price gouging, they got to look over their shoulder to make sure they're not engaging in anti-competitive conduct. Do they need those assurances?
No, because what we're asking them to do, they should be doing it anyway, and I don't think raises antitrust issues. Look, we're asking them to do 3 things. Use their technology to prevent exorbitant price increases from occurring in the first place, not chase them after. Number 2, trigger price gouging protections so that they're using their technology to scan these prices and see when something goes above a certain threshold. And number 3, implement a complaint portal where people can more easily and accessibly let folks know that they see price gouging like they're doing here in Pennsylvania by just simply emailing us at a dedicated address. These are things they should all be doing. I don't think there's antitrust issues, and I don't think that these things can wait until after this crisis has subsided. These are changes they can make and should make right now, and the good news is they're being responsive to our demands.
Now, General, 37 years ago, Professor Kuiper at the University of Michigan Law School, that may be the only thing I remember from antitrust. If you hear companies get together and you're in the room and they're talking about cooperating, knock over the carafe of water, get it on yourself, and leave so everyone remembers you leaving the moment at which they breach the antitrust laws. I want Amazon to call eBay and get together on figuring out how to stop price fixing first. I also want them to get together to figure out how, with everyone else, Apple and Google, to share testing data. But I don't want their lawyers knocking the carafe over because they had the same lecture from Kuiper. What do we do about that?
Yeah, but listen, here's what we're asking to do. How many times have you gone on Amazon and it seems like they already know what you want to buy?
Oh, my gosh.
When you start typing a few things in, right? They have massive,
yes.
Right, Hugh? I mean, they've got massive amounts of data on you. They've got massive amounts of data on purchasers like you. I want them to use that not just to sell Hugh Hewitt a product, but to make sure Hugh Hewitt is protected when he buys that product by constantly scanning for pricing differences and irregularities, and by shutting down those online merchants who are using their marketplace to distribute products to you in ways that aren't price gouging you. I think you can do that pretty simply without violating our antitrust laws, and you can do it in a way where you're streamlining that process across the board, again, without running afoul of our antitrust laws.
Okay, the one thing I'd ask, I think if they get the perfect algorithm, I want them to share it with Google and everybody else and not get sued. Let me ask you about the last question, the most sensitive one. Governor Larry Hogan said he is preparing for civil unrest should it occur in the event of shortages in urban areas or suburban areas or even rural areas. Are you?
We are. We've taken significant steps with our law enforcement partners across Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I hope it doesn't come to that. But look, as the president said yesterday, we got to settle in for what's going to be a rough couple of weeks, this is obviously going to go on much longer. And we need to make sure that the supply chains are open to be able to get food to people. We're seeing huge lines in Pittsburgh just to line up at the food bank to get food. So many people are struggling. Hugh, we've had 850,000 Pennsylvanians apply for uninsurance, or to apply, for unemployment. We are in a challenging situation fiscally and obviously from a public health standpoint, and that has to include mental health as well. There's a lot of concern I have, but we are effectively coordinating with our law enforcement partners at the federal, state, and local level to prepare for things in the future should they take that turn. I'm still hopeful and believe in the best of Pennsylvanians, that we're going to look out for one another, that we're going to be there for one another, and that it won't come to that. But I can tell you that as the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we are certainly preparing for that.
Oh, okay. I have time for one more. Detective Tom called me from Oakland on Monday. Good regular caller. He's the real deal. He's actually a detective on the streets. Says the cartels are using this as a business opportunity, that this is a space for them to import and store product, set up distribution networks, and in other words, in every way strengthen their infrastructure for distribution of fentanyl and other killer substances in the United States. Have you seen that, Attorney General Shapiro?
Well, sadly, we still continue to see 12 Pennsylvanians die every single day from the heroin, fentanyl, and opioid crisis, and we see drug dealers trying to take advantage of this situation. Let me tell you something. I haven't forgotten about my day job amidst this crisis, and public safety is my top priority and at the core of everything we do. And we may have some people working remotely now and not showing up in the physical office space every day, but we still have agents working drug cases. We're still tracking, crime guns. We're still working hard to keep our neighborhoods safe. So criminals need to be on notice here in Pennsylvania and I think across the country based upon my collaboration with our federal partners, that this isn't a time to pull something. This isn't a time to mess around. This isn't a time to try and take advantage of people because we're watching. We're still making arrests. We're still working these big cases. We're still listening to them on wiretaps, and we're still going to hunt them down and hold them accountable for claiming the lives of Pennsylvanians.
Attorney General of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, thank you. Attorney General, keep coming back. I love talking to Democrats. Shared